I believe we've got a shot at a seat at the table. And if I'm sitting at that seat representing you, I'm going to be calling for convertible into gold. Doesn't mean that you have to do it, but it means that they need to know, meaning they, governments and central banks, need to know that if you wanted to, you could. It's nothing. And with that 44% overnight devaluation, if it was really backed, you couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And that's why they can't back a currency until we go through that hyperinflation, period. I'm sorry, I'm putting my neck on the line here.
Welcome back to the important video of Lynette Zang. Today, Lynette Zang breaks down the growing power of BRICS, now representing 30% of global GDP and nearly half the world's population. Their latest summit reveals a major shift in economic and political influence away from the West. From Russia bypassing SWIFT to the potential rise of a BRICS currency, Lynette uncovers what this means for the global economy, the dollar, and your financial future. This is critical information you won't want to miss. Let's dive in.
The symbolic moment came after a deal was struck to resolve that long-standing feud between the Asian superpowers. But I think, and I agree with this completely, China's bigger ambition and target is the Taiwan issue. So many think that we're already in World War III in cyberspace. We're certainly seeing a lot of wars break out all around the world, whether they're proxy wars or not proxy wars. I think they're more proxy wars. But Taiwan is a huge issue between the U.S. and China. I think that this could definitely be an overt, because apparently many believe that covertly World War III has already started. But I think that if there was a conflict around Taiwan between the U.S. and China, there's your World War III. They would like to ensure that India does not react to the Taiwan issue so sensitively. Right? So if they've got India on their side, then quite honestly, then China has more power to go after Taiwan. So we're going to see what happens with that. But this is a major power shift. I think it really matters. Even here, Wall Street and tech royalty, because just follow the money. It's all about the money. Allegiance happens that way. But Wall Street and tech royalty fly to Saudi Arabia amid Mideast war. And Saudi Arabia has still not made an absolute commitment to the BRICS. Even though they've been accepted into the BRICS, they haven't really picked up that mantle. So they're also playing both sides, the West and the East. Who's going to win? We'll see where that power shift leads us. But once the clear winner evolves, that's when you're going to see these other countries, whether it's Saudi Arabia, etc., fly to one or the other. And my guess is they're going to fly to the BRICS. Growth in the portion, what you're looking at is growth in the portion of emerging market funds with Saudi exposure, but that has stalled, right? So what is Saudi Arabia doing? They're doing a big push right now with Wall Street, but they're straddling both sides of this fence. So I find this to be really, really interesting, as Saudi Arabia declines to make a full commitment to BRICS. But there's a tease. So where is that investment going to come from? You can certainly see how much it's grown since 2015. The BRICS nations agree to boost trade, financial settlement in local currencies. Okay, so this takes us down to the BRICS currency, which there has been nothing formal announced. I don't really think that they're ready to, but I want to talk more about this. Through the Kazan Declaration signed yesterday at the 16th BRICS Summit in Russia, they have mandated finance ministers and central bank governors from member countries to explore various options aimed at easing economic exchanges within the bloc. And I would honestly say that peace within the bloc is critically important to understand, because they're not talking about a universal currency. They're not really talking about the world reserve currency. And again, what they are talking about is a basket of currencies making trade amongst themselves easier. That's where it all goes down, and they're still doing these studies. So it doesn't seem to me, and hey, look, do I think they're really going to reveal everything to us? Of course not. They're not going to do that. So maybe there'll be a surprise that comes out. But what we're really looking at here with CBDCs and the new currencies and the world reserve currency, it still seems to me that the SDR is the most likely option, because while that too is a basket of currencies, it is a basket that can include every single currency, not just a small basket of currencies enabling trade partners to trade with their own currencies. So there was no big bombshell, though they did come out with a currency. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And by the way, even when they're using the term backing, I want to be so crystal clear on this. If you can't convert it into that underlying gold, it's not backed. So all of these asset-backed digital coins that they're creating, all of these asset-backed, I want them convertible into it, because otherwise, how do you know that it's real? And how do you know that you really own anything? Because it's just a contract. You see what I'm saying here? This is really, really important, because they're using pegging and backing interchangeably, and that's simply not really how it works. You know, it's just like taxation and confiscation. Those are two different words, but they mean the same thing, right? But backing and pegging are two different things, because pegging just goes to the price, and the price is easy to manipulate in terms of all of this kind of stuff wherever you live in the whole world. So I want to be really clear about that. But the BRICS unveiled a symbolic banknote, okay, pushes for local currency trade amid the dollar debate. Reports have suggested that the BRICS banknote could be called the unit, with backing possibly coming from gold and member currencies. However, these remain speculative, and no official announcements have been made regarding the launch of a BRICS currency. And I keep watching. So even if they did come out with the unit, everything I read, it's non-convertible. So it's not really backed, even though they want to say that it's backed. You can't convert it. And I'm sorry, but if you're looking at the members of the BRICS Union, do you really see any country that takes particular care to promote the individual public? No. And I'm not even saying, oh, look at the U.S. is better, because it's not, right? There is no government, no central bank. That's why we have to come together in a global union, sound money movement. Just convert this stuff that they control into this stuff that the whole world needs, because it's used in every single sector of the global economy, right? You want to have more rights back. We've been losing those rights for so long, and they do it slowly and slowly and slowly so that you don't notice it. But you better have a foundation in sound money. And if we can even get 3% of the 8.4 billion people that live in this world to convert their fiat government-controlled fiat money into sound money, we've got a shot, I believe. We've got a shot at a seat at the table. And if I'm sitting at that seat representing you, I'm going to be calling for convertible into gold. Doesn't mean that you have to do it, but it means that they need to know, meaning they, governments and central banks, need to know that if you wanted to, you could. Because gold requires fiscal responsibility. Can you please tell me one government that wants to be fiscally responsible? Even when they vow. And we just saw gold backed the Zimbabwe gold. And hey, they're now talking about enforcing that as the only currency to be used. But you can't convert it, and it's digital. It's nothing. And with that 43, 44% overnight devaluation, if it was really backed, you couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And that's why they can't back a currency until we go through that hyperinflation. Period. I'm sorry, I'm putting my neck on the line here, but I know history. And they've got to burn off all of this massive amount of debt, because that is how money is created in this system. So they've got to go into a new system because there's no purchasing power left. And therefore, they have to get rid of all of that debt so they can create more.
Thanks for watching. If this video gave you valuable insights, please hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell icon to help us reach more people with this important information. The global economy is changing fast, and staying informed is the key to staying ahead. Until next time, take care and stay prepared.